Let's talk about this even further with our friend, legal analyst Nicole DeBorde. She joins me now. Nicole, thanks for being with us on this Tuesday night. I know you and I have talked about this case so often, especially during the trial itself. How surprised were you when you read about this filing today with Dick Harpootlian? He's a bulldog there in South Carolina. He's one of the main criminal defense attorneys in the state. Of course, he represented Alex Murdaugh there. And they're pretty bullish. They're pretty optimistic. They think because of this, there's going to be a new trial. Do you agree with them?
I think they're possibly correct. I mean, this is absolutely stunning. When I first heard this information, I thought this cannot possibly be real. To have an official, a clerk of the court, for starters, write a book about quote unquote behind the scenes justice is stunning in and of itself. But to then it be revealed that she had actual dialogue with jurors who were still hearing the evidence in the case, and then ultimately deliberating on the case with more interference from this person who is supposed to have really just ministerial function to collect documents, to return the documents to the court, and to log those documents. Absolutely stunning and absolutely outrageous misbehavior by this clerk of court, if it is true.
Yeah, because we were listening into a press conference today by these two attorneys who filed this motion. They said this wasn't just, conversational pleasantries, small talk, amongst the county clerk and the jurors. It was about the character or lack thereof for Alex Murdaugh, essentially. And I'm paraphrasing here, saying, that's just what Alex Murdaugh does. He's not a good guy, so-and-so. For a county clerk who is, acting in her administrative capacity in the court, writing down, transcribing what's going on at trial, for her to capitalize, one, on this, and then for her to put it in her own book. Nicole, these are passages from her own book that just hit bookstores August 1st, documenting, recounting some of the discussions she had with jurors. That, to me, is so stunning that she put it out there.
Absolutely stunning. And, she's really identifying or confessing to misconduct that could cost this county, hundreds of thousands of dollars in a retrial because of her conduct. I mean, it is really beyond description that she would have any kind of dialogue with a deliberating jury or a jury that's still hearing evidence. Written about it in the book. So if what she says in the book is true, I think this court's going to have a really hard time looking past that to let this verdict stand.
Yeah, Nicole, something I keep saying the word stunning, but in that press conference there, they were asked whether or not if this, gets to some type of hearing or trial, whether or not they're going to call the judge in the case as a witness. And then they were also asked about, will this county clerk, I have her name here, her name is Rebecca Hill, will she face any charges over this? Because I think it's so interesting. I cover here on LiveNOW a lot of international stories, a lot of stories about national security. And when former national security officials write a book about a major story with a lot of sensitive information in it, they need to get it approved by the relevant powers that be in the intelligence apparatus and the Defense Department. Was there anything on the books there? I mean, did anyone have to read the book before it was published beside her publisher to say you can include this, you can't include this?
I can't even imagine that the clerk of a court would publish a book about things that were happening sort of outside the courtroom, or that her editorializing on a process, which, by the way, that is still under appeal. So I cannot imagine that anyone approved this book being written or released. And even if it was, it does not eliminate the problem of the really outrageous conduct by this clerk who interfered with this jury. And yes, I'm sure that she herself could now be investigated.
I mean, this is kind of a cautionary tale. I mean, for people who want to capitalize on these major, high-profile national trials, right? That, if you want to do that, you have to go about it the right way, and you can't taint the jury pool or allegedly taint the jury pool in the process.
Absolutely. And manipulating a jury while there is a man's life on the line, while jurors deliberate whether or not he should be found guilty and incarcerated or just branded a criminal for the rest of his life, is as serious as it gets. I mean, this is bizarre and shocking beyond words, quite frankly.
Yeah, and of course, we know Alex Murdaugh was convicted for the murder of his wife, Maggie, of his son, Paul, earlier this year. It is on appeal, to your point. Buster Murdaugh sat down with Martha McCallum on Fox Nation last week, and that was his kind of first sit-down exclusive interview. And he said as much. He talks to his father a lot in prison. The communications are out there. And he said as much that, he believes his father is innocent. That will be proven someday. Hearing that last week and then hearing this story this week, just today, those things have some relevance right now, don't they?
They absolutely do. And the reality is that those who have contact with jurors who are called upon from the public to do a job for the justice system really have to be careful about their contact with those jurors, the bailiffs, the people on the court staff, and especially the court clerk. Anyone who has contact with jurors has to exercise the utmost caution not to interfere with those jurors' understanding and perception of the evidence and their deliberations. It's so disappointing that someone from the court staff would behave in this fashion.
Yeah. All right, Nicole DeBorde, we'll leave it at that. As always, great insight from you on these major legal and criminal headlines. We'll definitely be talking about this, I think, in the days to come. Nicole, thanks.
Thank you.